Tonight, Israel strikes back against Iran, further raising fears of a wider Middle East war.
A 16-year-old boy charged with terrorism over Sydney's church stabbing while police try to reassure a community on edge.
A repeat drink driver jailed over a Central Coast crash that claimed the life of a 9-year-old boy.
The federal government's tough vaping crackdown backed by states and territories, but not by all parties.
And the Roosters lose to the Storm, but have they really lost Joey Manu?
This is NBN News with Gavin and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. Just days after Iran launched an unprecedented attack on Israel, a retaliation has added to fears of all-out war in the Middle East.
Israel has reportedly carried out a missile strike on an Iranian city that's home to a major airbase.
The latest development prompting a new travel warning for Australians across the region.
Israel warned it would respond to Iran's attack. This seemingly the evidence it did in the early hours of the morning. Key Iranian airspace shut off. An announcement at Tehran's international airport declared flights suspended. State television reported explosions in Isfahan, a city more than 400 kilometres south of the capital, Tehran. It is also home to a major military airbase and sites linked to Iran's nuclear program. The international nuclear watchdog confirming Iran's nuclear sites weren't damaged. This 5 days after Iran launched more than 300 missiles and drones at Israel, many intercepted or failed.
There's a well-known, understood approach in the Middle East that you have to respond to force with force.
The US said an Israeli missile hit inside Iran. Iran says there wasn't a missile and claims it launched air defense systems, then broadcast these images.
Other than that, nothing has happened. Everything is back to normal.
If they retaliate against this very limited attack, then Israel will launch a much more forceful retaliation.
Hours before Israel's retaliation, Iran's foreign minister issued this warning.
The Israeli regime embarks on adventurism again and takes action against the interests of Iran. The next response from us will be immediate and at a maximum level.
The US is denying green-lighting Israel's operation. The question now is where to from here for the Middle East, a region the United Nations Secretary General warned today is on the precipice, and one miscalculation could lead to the unthinkable.
We could be in for, a tit for tat that could rapidly get out of control. So this is, a pretty serious turning point.
The moment of maximum peril must be a time for maximum restraint.
In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, NBN News.
Australians are now being warned to leave Israel, with the Department of Foreign Affairs updating its travel advice. Federal politics reporter Claudia Vidoljak has the details.
DFAT is urging Australians in Israel or the occupied Palestinian territories to get out now if it is safe to do so. The department issued this updated travel advice earlier this afternoon. It reads, there's a high threat of military reprisals and terrorist attacks against Israel and Israeli interests across the region. The security situation could deteriorate quickly with little or no notice, requesting Australians to leave if they can. Overall, advice levels haven't changed. The government's still asking Australians to reconsider travelling there. In Iran, our government officials have been directed not to travel outside the Greater Tehran region. Their dependents have been offered to return home. Acting Foreign Minister Katie Gallagher has expressed serious concerns about further escalation in the region.
It's been revealed the teenager charged over Sydney's Wakeley church stabbing has suffered from mental illness since childhood. Tonight, the 16-year-old remains behind bars and is just the fourth person charged with an act of terrorism in almost a decade.
A call to prayer for a community on edge.
Any issue that arises should be left to the authorities.
Gathering at a Sydney mosque, the Imam's message to the faithful was clear.
It's something that's not representative of the entire community, but rather of that particular individual themselves.
Social media posts have been circulating online for days, claiming there are plans for reprisal attacks against Muslims.
Look, the fear is real.
Police say the messages are baseless.
It's creating fear, unnecessary fear in the community, and it needs to stop.
Despite the assurance of the Commissioner, some women say they are too afraid to leave home.
Well, we take every threat as a real threat at the moment because there is a heightened sense of alarm in the community.
The 16-year-old boy allegedly responsible for the attack on Bishop Marmari Emmanuel was charged with committing a terrorist act by police from his bedside in hospital yesterday afternoon.
This investigation is complex and remains ongoing.
In Children's Court, his lawyer told a magistrate the accused had been treated for mental health issues since the age of 5 and was expecting to speak with forensic psychologists this afternoon.
Was he mentally healthy at the time of the incident?
The country's top law enforcement officers making it very clear they are investigating radicalisation and not religion. More than 5,000 people gathered here today to hear the Imam's message of peace, and it's hoped those words will go a long way in calming the nerves of this community who for days now have been living in fear.
I need to reassure the community that they have no reason to be concerned.
We're Australia, and we can't let our religious differences tear us apart.
James Wilson, NBN News.
The family of a 9-year-old boy killed by a drunk driver on the Central Coast says it's disappointed at the sentence handed to the woman responsible. Christy Merritt was the Mid-North Coast today jailed for at least 3.5 years. The court hearing it wasn't her first drink driving offence.
Forever grieving the loss of their grandson, for the family of James Edds today brought even more pain.
I can't fathom it. I can't understand it at all.
We weren't expecting it to be as low as it was, so we think for the seriousness of what she did, the sentence should have been higher.
Up to 5 years and 5 months in jail was handed to Christy Merritt, the drunk driver who claimed the life of 9-year-old James in January last year. The 54-year-old was more than 4 times the legal alcohol limit and speeding by almost 30 kilometres when she drove through a giveaway sign at Killarney Vale and slammed into a sedan. James was in the back seat. He bore the brunt of the impact and died 3 days later.
That's just unbelievable. She's killed someone. She's got in a car, she was drunk, went through a giveaway, she sped, she's killed our little boy.
Merritt had been sober for 4 weeks, but downed a bottle of vodka the night before the crash following an argument with her partner. And today, Gosford District Court was told it wasn't her first run-in with the law. In 2021, she was disqualified for 3 months for mid-range DUI. The court heard during sentencing for her first drink driving offence, Merritt wrote a letter to the magistrate describing her decision to get behind the wheel as stupid and promised she'd never do it again. Today, a judge noted that sadly she did not live up to her word and those disastrous outcomes have now come to pass.
She can't believe that this has happened, and she'll never do it again.
James's loved ones are now calling for stricter laws, and they have this message for drivers.
Anyone that thinks that they can get away with it, it'll happen to them as well. And they've got to think the impact that they're going to have on their families.
With time served, Merritt could be released in February 2027. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Nearly a week on from the Bondi stabbings, North Coast locals are showing their support by rolling up their sleeves. Life Blood Centres seeing a 25% increase in blood and plasma donations.
When tragic events occur and people are suffering, for many the natural response is, what can I do to help? Blood donations are always needed and a powerful way to provide support from afar, according to Lifeblood Group Account Manager Ruth Harrison.
We've seen a lot more people dropping in, inquiring about becoming new blood donors, which is fantastic. And we've seen about a 25% uplift in donations across the state and here on the Mid-North Coast as well.
Today in Coffs, a waiting room packed with would-be donors. Some in the chair for the first time, others simply attending their regular appointment.
I got started because of a sports blood drive from the netball. I just know they help a lot of people, and it doesn't really worry me where they go. It's just helping.
2GB radio host and former Coffs local Deborah Knight was on the news desk for Nine's rolling coverage on the Bondi stabbings and says she booked in on Monday.
I felt quite helpless, and I actually went to my local shopping centre to get some groceries and ended up in tears and was thinking, this is what the victims were doing.
She's encouraging those here in her hometown to do the same.
My auntie, who is from Coffs, who's a retired nurse from Coffs, messaged me and said, yep, I'm going to go and donate as well. And, you know, family and friends who are up on the North Coast said the same thing.
O negative and O positive blood are always in high demand, as well as plasma, which can be used in 18 different medications.
If you would like to make a donation, go to our website, lifeblood.com.au. There's lots of questions where you can check your eligibility, or we have a Donate Blood app, or you can call our call centre on 13 14 95.
Britt Ramsey, NBN News.
An amber alert has been issued for blue-green algae at Lake Ainsworth in Lennox Head. Ballina Shire Council is urging people to avoid algae resembling spilled paint or green flecks, which could potentially cause skin and eye irritation. Council says it has an aerator running 24/7 to help minimise algae levels.
Thousands are expected to flock to the official opening of the casino showground and racecourse tomorrow after undergoing a major overhaul last year. Funded by local, state and federal governments, the $14 million upgrade features a large undercover arena, an outdoor sand area and a new racing stable complex for up to 80 horses. The opening kicks off 10 a.m.
Hundreds have celebrated a milestone in Clarence Valley agricultural history, walking through the gates today for the 150th Grafton Show. From the poultry and fauna displays to pavilions bursting at the seams with a variety of produce, arts, crafts and cooking, there was something for everyone. The show will go on tomorrow with fireworks, motorbikes and a demolition derby.
In less than a week, the last post will echo across the region for Anzac Day. Before then, a trio of respected Newcastle musicians will debut their own version, raising money for veterans.
It's a sacred, stirring piece of music entrenched in the Australian psyche. And traditionally performed by a single bugler. But now a Newcastle pianist has arranged a version with harmonies for an ensemble of violin, piano and double bass. Terence Koo says it's not designed to replace the bugle version, but provides a reimagining.
With something this sacred and this special, I had to be really, really careful. Fingers crossed, I think I've done an okay job.
It's a moving rendition respecting tradition and conveying hope. The melody is played by violinist Dr. Susan Carson.
But the way that I view it, it's kind of like if you've got a really old black and white painting or a black and white photograph, and someone comes along and colorizes it, and all of a sudden you can see the detail a lot more clearly.
During wartime, the last post signalled to those still on the battlefield, wounded or separated, that the fighting was done, and to follow the sound of the bugle to find safety. Now, of course, it's sounded on Anzac Day and Remembrance Day. A music video, The Last Post Reimagined, put together by a team from the Conservatorium, will be released on the website lastpost.au next Wednesday, with all profits going to the RSL's Anzac Appeal. Jane Goldsmith, NBN News.
A little bit cooler this morning, but it was an absolutely stunning autumn's day right across the entire coast, warming to about 24 degrees for most, but all of that coming to an end for the weekend. Details soon.
Still ahead in NBN News, the bedside interview with the Westfield security guard who confronted a killer.
Soaring wait times, not enough beds, a concerning snapshot of the nation's public hospitals.
And the end of an epic fundraising ride for Lifeline.
After 11 games of scissor, paper, rock and a heated debate, older brother Alex earned the top bunk, only to discover he was afraid of heights, settling the top bunk debate for the rest of the holiday.
You can't escape it. You're faced with choices every single day. But whatever choice you face, we're here to help. Huntsville Primary Care.
Constipation? What constipation? Try Dulcolax tablets before bed. It mimics your natural bowel movement for predictable overnight relief from constipation. Get it for a great price at Chemist Warehouse.
I might look like I've lost control, but I'm actually soaking up the sun.
Rather be walking on sunshine? You can with Jetstar Sunshine Coast sale fares from just $49. Ends 21st April. Exclusive check baggage. Conditions apply.
Save with a Super Tech Frenzy on now at Super Cheap Auto. Get this Sony digital media player, $349 for club members. And 5 litres of Penrite HPR 30 engine oil, half price. Limit 2 per customer. Make it super. Super Cheap Auto.
What will this place mean to you? It'll always be where I lost you.
The tragedy that didn't need to happen
Was a drop out of the sky.
What's shocking, the experts warned a catastrophe was not just possible, but probable.
The major 60 Minutes investigation.
That was more than a red flag. This report shook round the place.
Families want answers. 60 Minutes, Sunday. To shave or not to shave? Shave, edge, trim, edge, shave, trim. To shave or not to shave? That. One blade 360, trim, edge and shave.
Sweet shoes. Want 'em? Try the Google app for iPhone. Tap this, snap that. What a vibe. Can't name that song? Tap this, hum that. Right, wait. Tap this, hover over that, and now you know. Find it, hum it, translate it. More ways to search. Download the Google app for iPhone. Again is the old story. Vaping is the new chapter. Choose a different ending. Contact your local GP today to quit smoking and vaping.
Tonight, for the first time, we can bring you a first-hand account from a victim of the Bondi Junction attack.
Security guard Mohammed Taha was stabbed in the stomach and was there as his colleague died.
Holding his stomach where he was stabbed, security guard Mohammed Taha is racked by physical and emotional pain after he's run-in with a killer.
I tried to use my hands and just somehow he managed to stab me in the stomach.
And then there was a shock of learning his colleague Faraz Dahir was dead.
After that, 2 or 3 days, they told me that Faraz is no more.
What happened? New video has emerged of the moment those 2 security guards came face to face with Joel Couchy.
I see the ladies lying on the floor and then the people screaming, trying to help.
Ramon Velez is filming on his phone and the guards come into frame. Faraz Dahir is on the right, Mohammed Taha the left. They have no idea a killer is on the loose. But an emergency is clearly unfolding. The guards move off to the right and into the direction of Couchy. There is a violent scuffle.
All of a sudden he jumped over Faraz and he stabbed him in the chest. And at the same time he jumped over to me.
Wounded, Mohammed tried desperately to help Faraz before jumping on his radio.
There's an attacker who is killing the people. And at that time I was helping Faraz.
A third security guard, Mohammed's best friend, heard the call and responded.
I tried to to give them first aid. And to Taha, I took a shot and put it on his wound, and so to control the bleeding.
Without him, I wouldn't be here.
Today, the scene of that crime was returned to shoppers. Westfield Bondi Junction open for business, with retail therapy hopefully a way to help move on.
We've done Paris, London, whatever, and you do feel a bit scared, but who cares? Life is for the living.
Today, every security guard was wearing stab-proof vests, a permanent reminder of a tragedy which saw 6 lives lost. But for some store owners, the time was not yet right to open. More than 30 businesses kept their doors shut, and many of those last Saturday were the scenes of where lives were lost and saved by people who rushed to help. At Bondi Beach this morning, family and friends took to the water in a tribute to first-time mum Ashley Good. Tonight, promising news about the condition of a 9-month-old baby girl who was stabbed in the attack. No longer serious, now stable. Back at Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, Mohammed Taha is slowly recovering, his spirits lifted by an offer of citizenship.
I'm also very thankful to the Minister and the Prime Minister who given me the permanent residency for the country I love.
His mate who saved him is now also hoping for the same recognition. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
An elderly driver has died in hospital after a head-on crash on the M1 on Monday. The 96-year-old was reportedly driving a vehicle on the wrong side of the motorway north of the Wahroonga exit when he collided with a truck and 2 cars. A 27-year-old driver died at the scene. 2 other people were injured. The country's health ministers are on a unity ticket, signing a statement backing the federal government's tough new anti-vaping laws. Labor's crackdown targets suppliers, but the Greens and Coalition say it isn't the right approach.
Leaders standing in solidarity.
The health ministers have reaffirmed our collective commitment to stamp out the public health menace of vaping.
The states and territories supporting world-leading legislation currently before the Parliament, banning the sale, supply, manufacturing and commercial possession of non-therapeutic vapes, with jail time and fines of up to $2.2 million, making the only place to buy an e-cigarette at a pharmacy with a prescription.
These laws go after the suppliers, the vendors of these products that are making a profit.
We are doing everything we can to make sure that the next generation are not hooked on these very dangerous products.
What was once sold as a therapeutic good to help smokers ditch the habit, now being picked up by younger generations as a recreational product, with 1 in 6 high school students vaping.
I've had children in my clinic who are up in the middle of the night vaping. They can't sleep through the night because of the level of nicotine addiction that they have, and that is heartbreaking.
The federal government is pushing to pass the bill before July, but it hasn't been an easy sell. While the Coalition and Greens agree the problem needs to be addressed, they both have concerns with Labor's plan, arguing an outright ban isn't the right approach.
Prohibition doesn't work and hasn't worked in the past. We don't believe prohibition works. We need better regulations.
This is not prohibition. What we are saying is this was presented as a therapeutic good and it should be regulated as such.
What we say to the Coalition and the Greens, it's time to get on board.
Claudia Radoljak, NBN News.
Arriving to Cheers today, Newcastle man Ian Kidd reached the finish line in an epic 1,800-kilometre bike ride from Victoria to his hometown. The 2-week journey completed in the name of mental health. A ride, he says, was not just for himself, but for others fighting their own battles in the shadows. Ian's raised more than $3,000 for Hunter Lifeline, and donations in support of his marathon effort can still be made online.
Big blue skies today, but there is a defined line of cloud moving north, making its way across the Hunter. There's a gusty southerly change driving up the coast and the dreaded double trough formation. They will both feed off moisture-laden onshore winds, helping to make for a cloudy, wet start to the weekend, particularly on the eastern side of the divide. The large accumulations will be to the east, but isolated showers are still going to make it to the northwest.
Next, well wishes for Kate. An emotional moment for Prince William as he resumes royal duties.
Human versus AI. The US military stages the first ever dogfight between a pilot and a program.
And the push to make surf lifesaving an Olympic sport.
Unleash your creativity at Nova Employment's 16th annual Focus on Ability Short Film Festival with over $100,000 in prizes, including a new car and exclusive film industry experiences. It's your time to shine. Grab your camera and join the celebration of talent and inclusivity. Creating a film has never been easier, and the opportunities to triumph are endless. Simply make a short film or doco highlighting the ability of people with disability. Then head to focusonability.com.au.
Fry Hungry Jack's new Bourbon Street Whopper with crispy onion rings and bourbon barbecue sauce. Or fall in love with Bourbon Street Jack's Fried Chicken. New Bourbon Street Jack's Fried Chicken and Whopper. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
To shave or not to shave? Shave, edge, trim, edge, shave, trim. To shave or not to shave? That. One blade 360. Trim, edge, and shave. Welcome. Sunday night. Blockbuster. Le Monk.
Oh no!
In this French bakery, can you see what's real?
7 guesses. 1 minute. Go.
The stereotype.
What's made from Lego?
Far out.
Shocks.
It's an elimination.
Secrets.
What?
Surprises. Blockbuster Sunday. Then Monday, the biggest.
You will have to battle other teams' breakpots.
Lego showdown of all time.
Refresh your bedroom at Harvey Norman with great deals on now. Enjoy a bonus cushion or European pillowcase with selected quilt cover set or coverlet sets, like the Alden, just $119 for the queen size, plus bonus cushion. Featuring 5 zones of micro pocket coil support, the Australian-made Sleepmaker Raphael Queen mattress in 4 feels for $19.99. Make a grand statement with the Australian-made Bellevue Extended 4-drawer Queen bed, and choose your stain and fabric to suit your style. More to inspire at Harvey Norman now.
New chapter. Choose a different ending. Contact your local GP today to quit smoking and vaping.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. The family of a 9-year-old boy killed by a drunk driver on the Central Coast says it's disappointed at the sentence handed to the woman responsible. Christy Merritt from the Mid-North Coast was today jailed for at least 3.5 years. Police have charged 4 teenagers in relation to an alleged Gunnedah carjacking. Officers have now made 20 arrests linked to Operation Regional Mongoose. Delta Electricity, the operator of Vales Point Power Station, has pleaded not guilty to a charge relating to a mass fish kill in Lake Macquarie. Live blood centres, including those on the North Coast, say they've seen a 25% increase in blood and plasma donations following the Bondi attack. And a trio of respected Newcastle musicians will debut a version of The Last Post next week, raising money for veterans ahead of Anzac Day.
Breaking point, that's how the public hospital system has been described in a new snapshot by the Australian Medical Association. Health reporter Gabriella Rogers has the details.
Every year, the AMA looks at key performance measures, including public hospital capacity, emergency and surgical wait lists, and treatment times. The figures for the last financial year are grim. The number of new public hospital beds in Australia hasn't kept up with a booming ageing population. Just 11 new beds installed for every 10,000 new Australians since 2017. Looking at emergency departments, the national average of patients seen on time was the lowest in 10 years.
More than 3 in 10 of our sickest patients, people with heart attacks and strokes, not being seen within the 10-minute recommended wait time.
For planned surgeries, the median wait times are at their longest on record at 49 days. Australians are now waiting almost twice as long than 2 decades ago.
We're also working, as I said, on a new hospital funding agreement that will see more than $13 billion of additional Commonwealth funds flow to states.
In the report, New South Wales had the longest median wait time for planned surgery. However, a new surgical care task force set up by the state government mid-last year has significantly reduced wait times.
14,000 from day one, now down to 2,000 in the recent report. We are continuing to track downwards. That is a massive improvement.
The AMA says serious reform is needed to address a system in crisis.
There's been another tumultuous day of jury selection at Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. The session began with 7 jurors impanelled and saw 2 removed. But they were replaced and now all 12 jurors have been chosen, with only 5 more alternates needed before opening remarks can begin. Man or machine? Who is the real Top Gun? The US military has carried out the first ever dogfight between a human pilot and a fighter jet controlled by artificial intelligence. The winner has not been revealed, but the history-making battle has opened the door for new possibilities.
Prince William has resumed royal duties for the first time since his wife Kate revealed her cancer diagnosis. The future king appeared very moved as a charity worker presented him with get well cards and a message for the princess.
Wearing high vis, unloading crates of food and riding shotgun in a delivery van.
Great, let's go.
It's back to work for Prince William, the future king visiting a food distribution charity, cracking jokes.
What I love is we're getting people need basics, we're getting
and lending a hand in the kitchen.
No pressure. It's all right. I love it.
Spaghetti bolognese on the menu at Surplus to Supper in Surrey. The food centre delivers surplus food to those in need. It's the first royal engagement for the prince since his wife shocked the world with news she's battling cancer.
And William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family.
Kate's health on the minds of charity workers. 2 get well soon cards presented to the prince. William visibly moved by the gesture. For most of the Wales family, life returned to their normal. This week, the children have gone back to school. But as to when the Princess of Wales will return to work, that remains very uncertain. Jessica Millward, NBN News.
She's fresh off a Grammy win, but now our pop princess, Kylie Minogue, has something extra to celebrate. She's been named one of Time magazine's most influential people for 2024, listed under the Icons section. Kylie describes the move as mind-blowing. Well, the share market has limped into the weekend with another sharp fall, but gold investors will be celebrating tonight. Here's Chris Kohler.
The price of gold is still on a run. It's risen 20% in the last 2 months, which is odd because traditionally high bond yields and a strong US dollar would be getting in the way of that, but not this time. The rise is being put down to central banks buying it up and people, particularly in China and the US, doing the same. At its high point today, gold was going for more than $2,400 per ounce. No big surprise then to see Australian gold miners standing out in an otherwise gloomy day for the market. The ASX, in fact, finishes the week 220 points lower than it started it. And finally, Netflix is the star of its own show at the moment. It cracked down on password sharing last year, and it's worked. Last night it reported 9 million new customers in the first 3 months of this year, and in that time the share price has also risen more than 25%.
Hot on the heels of her record-breaking Australian tour, Taylor Swift has sent fans into a frenzy, releasing a surprise double album this afternoon. Titled The Tortured Poets Department, it's already setting records, becoming the most pre-saved in Spotify history. Swift is also expected to break her own mark for the most streamed album in a day.
There'll be a rare celestial event this weekend as the so-called Devil Comet passes over Australia for the first time in 71 years. It has been observed since the 1800s and got its nickname due to its volatile nature. Scientists say spotting the green-tinged comet is a game of cat and mouse, but it will be at its brightest this Sunday around 60 minutes after sunset. Over the years, surf lifesaving has been a breeding ground for some of the nation's top athletes. Now they want to ride the Olympic wave, launching a bid to compete at the Brisbane Games in 2032.
Easy on the eyes and high intensity, keeping beachgoers out of trouble's really just the beginning. If Baywatch didn't convince you surf lifesaving's the overachiever of international sport, these guys will.
You know, the high performance aspect and the racing aspect.
No matter what's happening around the world, the sport of surf lifesaving is so strong with its numbers. Our sport is very gender equal.
It's all about family and community.
Homegrown greats now chasing a chance to compete on the world's biggest stage.
Today, we're announcing our intention to bid for the 2032 Summer Olympics.
Timing's no coincidence. Australia is arguably the home of surf lifesaving, but you might be surprised to know there are 30 million participants worldwide.
I remember the Germans, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Italians, the French singing songs, the colours, and how much they loved competing.
Proposed events include an ocean man and ocean woman race with swimming, running, ski and board legs, and potentially a mixed competition. Amid ongoing controversy around Brisbane 2032 Olympic venues, this is one sport that wouldn't spark another stadium stoush. After all, we've got plenty of space to host events. And plenty of talent too. There are 80,000 Aussie nippers who'll be ripe for selection come 2032. Abby Guerin, NBN News.
Won't be a strong sport for Switzerland.
No, maybe not, but good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move to sport now, Jack.
Jack, the Knights coach, is expecting a very different game from the Bulldogs.
Adam O'Brien is wary the team of old has returned. After the break, the coach talks up the game while shutting down suggestions he's ready to let a start go. Also ahead, Joey Manu on whether we'll see him back in the NRL, and some surprise times from the big names at the Australian Swimming Championships.
I think we need a sofa. Yes, a dark one.
My one, babe.
Oh, the night one. The light one. Well, that decides it then. Whatever you're looking for, find your fantastic.
I'm on the next level, yeah, I know you heard about it. You know I'm bout it, and don't you ever doubt it. I'm incomparable, that's why they staring low. Turn up the stereo, check it out, check it out, check it out.
It's days like these, rediscovering a new freedom, a new time for friends and fun, finding new creative expressions, living in a luxury home in a luxury world-class resort. The time to look after myself and finding myself again and again. This is my time at Palm Lake Resort.
No, don't stop it, Robbie, don't! I've been faking it.
Did someone say KFC?
Mom, Helen stole my slingshot.
Well, he smells like a Spartan.
Hey, look, soup. Now, no more bickering, or you won't be going to the marathon.
Good then. Great now. Heinz.
We love our holiday house and the extra income we get by sharing it as a holiday rental.
Terry Shear provides cover for theft, damage by tenants and loss of rental income.
Terry Shear Holiday Rental Landlord Insurance.
We wouldn't rent our property without it.
Holiday rental insurance for just $1.50 or less per day. Get a quote, call Terry Shear or go online.
It's like utes are only designed for the city.
Finally, a ute that answers the critics. Amarok, born from tough love. Join over 42,000 Arise Solar customers with the latest autumn solar specials. The massive 6.6 kilowatt solar system, still a guaranteed lowest 3491. Extend your savings further with home solar batteries now on sale. Call 1-800 Arise Solar.
Take out a home loan or refinance with Summerland Bank and you could get $2,000 cash back. This offer is for a limited time, so be quick. T's and C's apply. Check out summerland.com.au or call 1300 728 728.
Last year, the Knights beat the Bulldogs 66-0, but that won't be on the cards this weekend, according to Adam O'Brien. Newcastle will field an unchanged side on Sunday, as both clubs look for just their third win of the season.
After 3 games in 12 days, the longer turnaround has been a godsend for the Knights.
It's come at a really good time for us, so I'm happy.
But no one's more grateful than fullback Kalen Ponga, with coaching staff managing his hip injury in the lead-up to the battle with the Bulldogs.
He's actually done way more than I expected. He's just done 30 minutes of goal kicking, so I didn't think he'd get to that. I was quite content with leaving him right up and just kicking the game, but no, he's done a heap. He's trained in everything.
Newcastle's wary of Cameron Ciraldo's new look Canterbury side.
The Bulldogs definitely aren't the team that we played last year. They've improved out of sight, and we've prepared that way for them. If we go down there dreaming about last year's result, that ain't going to happen.
Both teams having suffered 2-point losses last round.
We're not in a position to be holding anyone complacent. You know, we need to win, and the guys understand that.
Ahead of Sunday's showdown, there are reports the Knights have signed Raiders winger James Schiller. While he wouldn't comment on that today, O'Brien did say he's not keen on losing Dane Gagai, whose contract is up at the end of the season.
Look, I'm sure the club is working in the background to try and come to an arrangement that suits both parties. All I can speak of is what he's done for us in the 80 minutes each week this year. He's been tremendous, Dane.
Montana Claire, NBN News.
There's no guarantee Joey Manu will return to the NRL after his stint in Japanese rugby, but if there is a swan song, he wants it to be at the Roosters. Manu has opened up about the agonising decision to leave the club he joined as a teenager.
An emotional week for Joey Manu, his baby daughter's first appearance at an NRL match just days after he told the Roosters he's leaving. Did you get emotional having those conversations with Trent Robinson?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it wasn't the easiest decision talking to Robbo, talking to my family. My family loves this place and they only see me in this jumper. And what I want to achieve, and I've set out a few things, a few goals that I want to achieve, and just it's tough to, play against the Roosters. And if I'm in the NRL, I really want to put on this jersey to come back here. I've been here since I was 16. First thing I sort of knew coming to Sydney, and this is all I sort of know, the Sydney Roosters.
The Eels have made their annual pilgrimage to the top end this week, and tonight they take on the Dolphins. Danica Mason and Jonathan Thurston have the late mail from Darwin.
Well, Friday Night Footy comes to you live from the top end here in Darwin. Some pretty hot and humid conditions. Jonathan Thurston alongside me on the sideline. Parramatta Eels up against the Dolphins for Parramatta JT. They do have a new halves pairing, Dejan Arce and Dylan Brown. They played together last week in Mitchell Moses' absence. Are these the halves pairing to go forward while Mitch is out?
Yeah, definitely. This is their third halves pairing they've had this season with Dejan Arce and Dylan Brown. So Dejan Arce was really good last week, scored a try and kicked the field goal, so that'll do the world of confidence coming up here and putting in a good performance. But while Mitch is on the sideline, I think, those two boys will take control now.
What about for the Dolphins? A bit of drama in the lead up to this one. No Wayne Bennett. He's at home watching Channel 9 with the flu, unfortunately. Does this impact the players, do you think, at all?
No, I don't think so. Christian Wolf will take over, and he's obviously taken over when Wayne moves on, but I don't see it having any impact. He would have told Wolfie what he wants from the players, and then they'll communicate it to the players. So, they were really humbled last week by the Broncos, the Dolphins, so they'll be looking to come up here and put in a really good performance.
All right, we cannot wait for this one, and don't forget all the action right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
All the big names have qualified for tonight's finals at the Australian Open Swimming Championships, but there were a few surprises. Ariane Titmus was the second fastest for the 400 metres freestyle final behind Lani Pallister. Cam McEvoy and Kyle Chalmers were only 4th and 5th in the 50 freestyle heats, but Kaylee McEwen cruised through as the quickest qualifier in the 50 metres backstroke. Coming up next, a shock loss puts Paris almost out of reach for the Olyroos.
Kingscliff Nursery. Over 5 acres of trees, native shrubs and exotic plants. Huge range of fruit trees, indoor and outdoor plants, pots, planters and much more. Buy direct, save heaps. Remember to say hi to Sally at Kingscliff Nursery, Cudgeon Road, Cudgeon.
They say, good things come to those who wait. Turns out, that wait's only 90 seconds. Uncle Toby's sachets. Goodness in every bite, ready in 90 seconds.
When you power your home with affordable and sustainable energy plans from NG, everything becomes epic. With NG, it's possible.
Oh, I'll get this. We still up for ice skating, or is that on hold? For afternoon tea. Oh, that's great.
ANZ Falcon technology learns from thousands of data points on your transactions, so it can help spot the difference between you and fraud. Fraud protection. Now it's personal.
Progress is uncompromised performance that takes you beyond your imagination. The Audi RS e-tron GT. Excite the senses.
Smoking is the old story. Vaping is the new chapter. Choose a different ending. Contact your local GP today to quit smoking and vaping.
No one connects with farmers like we do.